I'm Renae Allen, and this is the 5th video in our Quilting with Rulers series. I'm quilting on pre-printed panels, and they're traditional blocks. I'm quilting with rulers and a ruler foot, and using a domestic sewing machine. The block that I'm quilting in this tutorial is called 8 Hands All Around. It's time to start quilting. Let's go. This is what the finished block will look like. I have already pin basted and stitched in the ditch with my 6-inch ruler. Since it is a printed block, the ditch is pretend, but that's okay, we still stitch in it. I know what I want to quilt in the outside white triangles, so I'm starting here. I'm using the inside edge of the 13-inch arc, which is 12 inches. A 12-inch circle would be way too big to use on a domestic machine, but the arc has the same curve that would be on a 12-inch circle. I marked the center and quarters of the long sides so I know where the points need to be. I placed the template 1/4 inch from the corner because the edge of the foot is 1/4 inch from the needle. If the ruler slips a little, I adjust the ruler at the point I am working towards so I keep a smooth line. I'm using the same technique in the smaller outside triangles. I'm turning the block often because it is small, and I can. If the block was in a quilt, I would move the ruler to the side, front, or back of the ruler foot rather than turning the quilt. The other reason I'm turning the block is so that you can see what I'm doing. For the inside white square, I'm using the outside of the 4-inch circle and the outside of the 6.5-inch circle. What do you do with the practice block after you quilt it? Well, I use this block and crown of thorns in a table runner with my own quilt as you go method. You can find instructions for it on the free download tab on rgadesignquilts.com. It could also be a pillow or a wall hanging. To quilt 3/4 inch spaced parallel lines, I place the 1/2 inch mark on the ditch or previously stitched line. Stitch in the ditch to get to the next line using the ruler as a guide or by freehand. It is nice when you can use the outside margin and zip to the next line without having to be exactly in the ditch. The center motif is like the design I quilted in the triangles. I marked the horizontal, vertical, and diagonal lines. I'm using the outside of the 4-inch circle. For some of the lines, I'm quilting them like a very shallow figure 8 as I pass through the center. That doesn't work when you move to the next petal. It is a little tricky to hit the center, but I don't beat myself up if I am not exact on all 16 lines, especially on a practice piece. I try not to take too many stitches in the center to avoid some of the thread buildup. The quilter's rule nested circles are a good value for a home machine. They are nested so you can use the inside or the outside, and the sizes increase in 1/4 inch increments, which gives a lot of alternatives. This finishes 8 hands all around. Be sure to check out the other 5 Quilting with Rulers tutorials in this series.